Take a steady gaze or close your eyes and come into your breath as a way of welcoming yourself for this time for practice, for yourself, with each other. And drawing our awareness and attention to the breath, letting other things kind of melt away. Leave yourself fully present in this moment. Physically in class today, we're focusing on power pose. It's also called fierce pose. You might call it chair pose. And finally, in Sanskrit, it's Utkatasana. So we'll see ways that power pose can really bring about a steady strength within. That steady strength starts here in the breath. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Nod the chin down to your chest. Rock the right ear towards your right shoulder. Pause there for a moment. Walk the opposite fingertips out to the side. And take the right hand on top of the left ear as a little extra bit. Think more of a tug out to the side, no pressure down. And then bring it all back into the center, hands to the thighs, chin to the chest, slowly rock, left ear over towards the left shoulder, walk the right fingertips out, and set the left hand on top of the right ear. I say ear, I'm really holding on more just the side of the head for that little extra bit of extension. Okay, bring both hands back to the thighs, chin to the chest. Lift the head and open your eyes. Okay, we're gonna actually start standing. Come all the way up to standing and grab your yoga strap. Again, something like a scarf, a towel, a belt, all those things work. Hold on to your strap straight out in front of you, about shoulder height, and I'm going wider than the shoulders. Notice how you're standing, little bend in the knees. We need just enough room to clear up and back. And really no wrong way to do this one. We're just trying to find a little bit of room and space from right off the get-go. Big breath as you lift up and back, getting in a little length through the sides of the body and finding room and space in the shoulders and chest. After you go a few times back and forth, try shortening your grip. And there's usually a spot right as you start to come back higher than the shoulders that it gets a little bit tricky. Try to just breathe through it, maybe slow it down, and still keep the hands about as even as you can. So we want to avoid doing this kind of thing where we're going one side at a time. We're trying to keep it all together. And for some reason, the more that you shorten that stride and holding the hands, then the thing that helps me get it around is often to lift up to the tips of my toes. And I think it's just accessing a little more space in the torso. So feel free to play around with it. Just a little bit more time here. Back and forth. You can have a little bend in the elbows. Just make sure it's an even bend as much as possible. Both elbows bent at the same rate. Cool. And this one, it's kind of nice. We do have a camera. You can kind of look at yourself as you do it. I always say it's the good thing to do in front of a mirror. And you can really see the tendency that you may or may not have one side more than the other. That's it. And then set this down. That's really why I brought out the strap. That's a great little pause in the work day too. When you've been sitting for a full hour, something like that, get up, grab your strap, just 5 to 10 times. It's a new us. All right, come stand at the front of the mat, arms down by your side in mountain pose. Inhale fully, exhale completely. We're starting with sun salutations. Lift up, reach the arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift, extend from the hips out to the crown of the head and step back to plank. Lower flat down to the belly. Reach your hands back behind you. Turn the palms to face up to the sky. Lift everything that you can up for Shalabhasana. Lower it down. Press back, child's pose. Stay here in child's pose. Tent your fingers. Lift the forearms, elbows, upper arm bones to the sky. And then walk both hands over to the right side. Maybe towards the 2 or even a 3 on a clock face. Use the left fingertips to reach long out in front of you, but pull back towards the left hip. And then walk the hands across the center. Do this to the second side, so you're walking more towards, say, the 10 or even the 9 on a clock face. And walk it back into the center. Come up to all fours. Do a few rounds of cat and cow here. Move the spine back and forth. And from cat and cow to downward facing dog. Look in between your hands, walk, step, jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms high. Palms together, center the chest. Let's keep this flow moving along. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half lift. Hands can come as high as the thighs, as low as the floor. Step back to plank. Toes or knees in that plank pose, and then lower your body down. Again, hands back, lift everything up. Child's pose. This time, take twisted child's pose. So right arm threads under the left and try to sit still back, hips towards the heels, though it's okay to have the butt higher in the air. Unthread the right arm. Do it to the left side. Left arm goes under the right, sort of shoulder, ear, side of the face towards the mat. Unthread, come up to all fours. Now place the right hand behind your head and twist. Try to lift the right elbow up towards the sky. And then pulse like that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to neutral. Set the right hand down. Switch sides. Try to keep the hips as even as possible as you do this. Twist in the torso, open towards the left side. Think left elbow more up towards the sky. And then little pulses, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back towards neutral. Set both hands down. Downward facing dog. Here, Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Feel free to pedal out the feet a little bit. Next breath, flip to the hands. Make your way to the top of the mat. Half lift. Forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. Inhale, lift up, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. Again, step back to plank. Lower down to the mat. This time it's cobra. Keep the hands beside you, right as they are. Squeeze the elbows in. Peel the chest up. Stay here for cobra. Press the top of the feet down to the mat. Really squeeze the glutes so the legs are strong and steady for you. Let's think of this like cobra push-ups. So we're going to lower mostly down and then like halfway up, mostly down, halfway up. Do it 2 more times. Keep squeezing the elbows close into the sides. You should feel this in your triceps. Back of the upper arm bone there. Starting to open in the upper back as well. And then we get to change child's pose. Right into downward facing dog now. And look to your hands. Step or jump to the front of the mat. Half lift, forward fold, stand up, reach the arms to the sky, palms together, center of the chest. I've got one more iteration for us like this. Lift up, reach, exhale, fold, inhale, half lift, step back to plank. Lower down. This is a different cobra. Now, hands wider than your mat. Tent your fingers, point your elbows up to the sky. Inhale, lift for cobra. Now, dip your right shoulder down and forward, and then back upright. Dip your left shoulder down and forward, and up. Go back to the right side. Keep the glutes strong this whole time. Go back to the left side. And then change to child's pose. I think when we think that Utkatasana, a lot of times we're focused in hips and legs. I want to make sure that we focus in shoulders and upper body today as well for that pose. Downward facing dog. And then look towards your hands. Make your way forward. Half lift. Forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. And palms together, center of the chest. Pause here. Hands over the center or down by your side. Take in 3 or 4 nice, full, clean breaths. Maybe exhaling a little longer each time. And then let it go, shake things out a little bit. I'm trying to segment a little bit. We've warmed up, started to open the upper body and shoulders, chest. We're going to change to the legs here. Grab your yoga block. If you do not have a block or something that will substitute for it, imagine that you do. That's it. We're going to place this block up between our upper inner thighs. And I'm going long side of my block. Squeeze in. And we are simply standing. Feet look down, point your toes straight ahead, your heels straight back, and use your abductor muscles, add them together. Squeeze into the block. Good, hands at the waistline here. And we are doing little tiny squats. You're gonna bend your knees, push your butt back, tailbone sticks out, and then stand back up, tuck the tailbone down, push the hips a little bit forward. We bend, stick it back, stand up, tuck down, forward. So, some of you probably have heard me talk about this before. I like to think of this like your Pez dispenser. You are pushing back, holding the candy in, and then it's like the mouth is opened and you're pushing it out as you stand up, okay? And there's a hinge at the hip as you sit into that little squat, and then you come up and tuck. Do it 2 more times. Down, up, and tuck. All the way, tailbone out, getting that nice sit of the femur bone into the hip socket, and up. Lift the arms up towards the sky. Keep squeezing into your block here. Hold on to your right wrist. Lift up and go a little bit over to the side. Keep squeezing your block. Don't let it fall. Nice job. Come back to the center. Hold on. Second wrist. Up and over. Okay, back to the middle. Lower the hands. Let the block go. This is where I want you to find a wall space. If you don't have a wall space handy, you get to do what you're doing in the center of your mat. I'm going to use my back to prop against the wall. And sit as low as possible with knees to hips right in line. So we are looking to find a 90-degree angle. This is gonna feel intense in your legs. Try to have your shoulders, the full length of your spine for the most part, up against that wall. If things start shaking, the other thing you could do is get up, re-grab that yoga block, put it in between your thighs. Sometimes that's helpful. If you can, stay right with me here. We're doing this together, maybe hands over belly or thighs, and give me 3 full breaths. Deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. Nicely done. 1 more breath right here. We've got this. And out. Lean forward, help yourself. Back up, shake out the legs a little bit. Okay, so if you were at like a full 90 on that wall, now you're gonna come halfway up from that, like you're sitting in a bar stool instead of a chair way down there, okay? So find it 1 more time and think bar stool sit. Your hips should be above the line of the knees. Again, lean the back all the way against the wall if possible here. Tone belly, navel in towards the spine so you feel the low back almost hit the wall. And this time let's add the arms up towards the sky. Turn palms in towards each other so your thumbs are right against the wall. Plug down through your big toe as much as over to the pinky toe and back to your heels. And again, we're here for 3 more good breaths. And this bar stool sit is a little bit more of the traditional Utkatasana for most folks, to keep that chest all the way upright. Okay, you've done it. Help yourself off the wall. Shake out the legs. Come stand at the top of your yoga mat. Hands at the waist. We're going into a deep chair sit. So again, it's deep crease in the hips. Send your butt straight back. Get low. Bring your belly down onto the thighs and arms straight out in front of you. With the arms straight out in front of you, point the thumbs up. Squeeze the upper arm bones around the line of your ears. Keep pressing belly down onto your thighs, almost like your thighs are trying to rebound up onto your belly. And can you come from here into that bar stool sit? Pull your belly off of your thighs. Look more straight ahead. Still try to keep your arms pulled up in line with your ears. Imagine that you're still squeezing your inner thighs around the yoga block. And stand all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank position. Here in plank pose, toes or knees, find which one you can stay with straight arms. Try to look a little bit ahead of the front of your yoga mat, so lift your chin just slightly. Squeeze in the glutes, lengthen the tailbone, tone the belly. We should be already pretty warm and fired up from the Utkatasana work. You're staying here for just 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Downward facing dog. Lift the hips up and back. Lift the right leg up into the air, 3-legged dog. And pull knee into chest, hover forward. Step it all the way through into your low lunge. We know this one, twisted lunge, right hand high. Lower the right hand to the inside of your foot. Down dog lunge. Spin the back heel down. Get a good amount of weight and pressure pushing into that back leg. And walk your hands out towards that front left corner of the mat. I stay on tented fingers. I don't have much pressure in the arms at all. Broaden the right knee away from your right shoulder. We're really looking at getting into the hips while still providing space and length in the upper body for this pose. Okay, and then walk the hands back in. Low lunge, pick up the back heel, hands stay on the inside of your front foot. Lower the left knee down to the ground. Kick your hips back, hamstring stretch, flex the right foot. And the hands could always come closer in towards the back knee. Be propped underneath a yoga block. Just kind of finding your range of motion here. Okay, so listen up. From here, we're going to get into side plank. You rebend the right knee, low lunge. Set your left palm flat on the ground. This is where it gets a little tricky and a little fun. You're going to slide your right foot back. Try to stack your feet. Right arm up to the sky, side plank. Take the right arm overhead so you get even more length and reach to the side of the body. And then step the right foot back to your low lunge. Right hand up to the sky and that twisted lunge again. You'll want to try it one more time. Look down, left hand flat, and this could be done with the back knee down into your side plank. Find the way that works for you. And then you step right foot forward again into your twisted lunge. Bring the right hand down, step it back to plank, lower to your mat. Peel the chest up for cobra. And go to downward facing dog. All right, I think this one's kind of a fun combo. Makes our brain work. Lift the left leg high. We'll give it a go on the second side. Step all the way forward and through to your low lunge. And then take left hand high in your twisted lunge. Good, down dog lunge. So both hands come to the inside. Spin the back heel down. Again, get the weight, the pressure into that back leg as you walk the hands out. Light to no weight in the hands is totally fine here. Okay, and then here's where we play with that side plank. So you walk the hands back in, you're in your low lunge. Nope, it's not there yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. Lower the right knee down. You get to do your hamstrings first. Pull the left leg straight, flex the foot, toes can come up. Walk the hands into a more doable position as you need. And we're just looking for a good steady stretch behind the thigh. Okay, here's where that side plank work comes in. Back into your low lunge. Plant your right palm flat down. You're either going down to the right knee for more ease or to the outside edge of the right foot as you slide left leg back, left arm up. Take the left arm long overhead, give a little more reach. Look down, see where you're going. Step the left foot all the way through. Twisted lunge. Stay there or try it one more time. Side plank, go. Remember, bottom knee can be down. It's a lot of mobility work in this. With the strength, step it back forward into the twisted lunge. Two hands down, step back to plank. Lower to your yoga mat. Cobra, elbows close into the side. Keep some bend in the elbows as you pull through the front of the chest. And let's go child's pose, push back. Knees apart, big toes together, child's pose. Walk the hands closer to your heels, come upright in your torso and slide the knees together. So thunderbolt pose, sitting right back on the heels. And take an easy twist to one side. If this is too intense in the flexion of the knees, you could be upright in a kneeling position. We're just looking for a little torso rotation here. Look to the left. And then back into the center. And everyone do come up to kneeling. Okay, so I'm kneeling with my knees about as wide as the hips. This is a funny little thing, sort of like, oh, is this hard or is this easy? We are simply going to try to step the right foot forward and then pull it back. And I want you to do it 3 more times. Step forward, pull it back, step forward, pull it back. And what we're trying to do is stay as stable as we can in the hips and not lean too much weight side to side. So try it about 4 times on one side. Keep your gaze forward. I like to have my hands on those anterior, the front hip points, so they can really kind of see, notice how much movement is needed. About 4 times, step forward and back. Just try to flick it forward, flick it back. Okay, go back to the first side, right foot, stay there. And then let the hips go down and forward. Squeeze strong in the glutes. We don't want this overarch in the low back, so keep pulling tailbone down. Stay strong and lifted in the front side of the body and reach your arms up to the sky. Try interlacing the hands, maybe thumb and first finger up. Kind of wiggle out through the shoulders, get a little taller. Upper body taller even as the hips slide a bit down and forward. Sole the right foot flat on the ground. And then lower the hands down. Come back up to your kneeling. Flick the right foot back. Flick the left foot forward. Look down. You start this 90-90, hip, knee, all in line with one another. And then keeping the left foot flat on the floor. Don't let the heel come up. You move down and forward. Again, you don't want to collapse into the low back. So it's a little bit of a feeling of an elevator lifting up, up, up. Take the arms with you. Do the same cross, whatever helps here. Anjaneyasana, nice lift. And lower the hands. Flick the left foot back. Last little bit kneeling here if the knees are at all needing some more padding. A lot of times I just fold my mat in half. If I've been there too long, take the arms straight ahead of you. So from hip to shoulder here, we're looking at camel pose now. We want to still think of growing taller, and it's a little curl over the upper back that we're working with. The more that the upper back curls back, the hips are going to slide back, but we can't stick our butt out. So trying to do all those things together, hands straight out in front of you, will help with the counterbalance. Slide your butt back a little bit. Still pushing anterior hip points forward, that lift and curl over the chest, and come back upright. So slide back, feel the strength in the quads first, then lift the chest a little higher, keep looking at your fingertips, back for just a breath, come up to neutral. And it can all start to slide back together, and up. Slide back together and up. Find your way to downward facing dog. Keeping us busy and moving along today. Downward facing dog. Go back right leg high into the air. This time, bend your right knee, open the hips. So to point the right knee more up to the sky, the toes more towards the left. But even as you do that, can you keep your chest square down to the ground so that the shoulders are at the same height? Left shoulder here likes to dip down, so it's a lift through the left side to keep things balanced. Change, pull your right knee into the chest, hover forward, and step all the way through. This time, high crescent lunge, lift your torso up, arms up. Squeeze in those glutes as always. Can you make your front leg of that lunge as low as you were when you were sitting on the wall the first time? Try to go towards a 90-degree angle, hip to knee, knee down to our inner ankle. From here, step the back foot up to the front for Utkatasana, chair pose. Again, can you go low into the thighs, but then pull your torso upright so you end up more in that bar stool height. Stand all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Change to downward facing dog. And then left leg up into the air, three-legged dog. Bend the knee. Open the hips so the left knee points more up to the sky. Toes towards the right side, that kind of turn and rotation. But the rotation stops in the upper body, so there's actually a twist back down towards the mat to keep the right shoulder lifted. That's the stuff that makes Utkatasana work for us. Okay, pull the knee into the chest, hover for just a breath, and step it through. Feet still hip distance apart, bring the torso upright. And maybe you're working on getting lower in that front thigh before you bring the arms up overhead. Can we go just a little deeper, like the knees extending forward and the back heel extending back. Square off the hips. Then the arms. Each piece of the pie coming together. Okay, as much as we can, we're keeping the front leg pretty much the same, but now we're trying to step the right foot up. Ooh, stay in that burn. Utkatasana. My left foot feels a little heavier still from it. How about yours? And stand all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Just keep chin, head a little lifted if you feel at all lightheaded. And downward facing dog. Make your way back. Okay, one more time with this fun stuff. Lift the right leg up into the air. Bend the knee, open the hip. Give ourselves a little bit of repetition to find things today. Step the right foot all the way forward. Come upright in that high lunge. Okay, this time I want you to bend the back knee just a little bit so it's easier to drop tailbone down towards the floor rather than letting it stick out and back. We're trying to very much mobilize down. Torso fully upright. Okay, if before we were trying to keep some of the bend in the front thigh and into that squat, now I want you totally focused on your upper body, the stack of the shoulders, hips, ears, arms, all straight up and down. And then just very slowly keeping that tailbone down, you're gonna tap the back foot in, until you come to your chair sit with the feet closer together now. Utkatasana, super lift, vertical in the torso. A really high bar stool sit for most of us, I'm guessing. Mine certainly is. Feel it in your upper back. And then straighten your legs. Little relief. Exhale, fold. Go all the way back to downward facing dog. Good news, there's only one side left. Lift the left leg high. We've got it. Bend the knee, open the hip. Fierce pose, aptly named. Finding all of its little pieces today. Step it forward into your low lunge. Build the torso upright. Okay, back knee, bend the knee so that you can really drop tailbone down towards the floor as if you feel like you're pulling up on the belly. Arms straight up. Palms in, number 11, overhead here. Okay, so we do not want the torso to come forward at all. We want it straight up and down. I want to keep that. That's the important piece of this next series. As you step, step, step it in. Feet together or close. Keep that upright sense. Still low ribs pulled in towards the belly. Tailbone down to the floor. Upper back. Woo. Stand up. And exhale, forward fold. Separate your feet as wide as the yoga mat. Do a little more of that ragdoll position. Let yourself hang. Rock a little side to side. Okay, and from here we're getting into good old warrior two. Keep the right foot forward. Step the left foot back. Spin the heel down. Line up front heel to the middle of the back foot. You could also go heel to heel alignment. Sometimes that feels better. Come on up. Open your whole body so it faces the side length of your yoga mat. Really big, wide energy there. Navel in towards the spine, tailbone still straight down. Get into that low 90-degree front bend in the knee. Low, low, low. Good, good, good. Gaze out over your front fingertips. Turn the palms up to the sky. Reverse warrior. Lift the right hand high. Side angle pose. Elbow to the knee. Top arm, palm down overhead like you did in side plank. Big, long reach. Go ahead, look down at your mat. Take the hands to your low lunge. Step back to plank. Lower to your mat. Cobra. Let it feel good. Change to downward facing dog. I am still on the right leg here. Bring your right knee to pigeon. Right knee forward behind the right wrist. Heel towards the left hip. Lower the left leg. Walk it back. Come down towards your forearms. Feel free to place your forearms under your yoga block. Even slide a block underneath the right hip if you like that for balance. Or none at all. Okay, pretty long sequence here on the same side. Roll off towards your right hip and then pull the left foot forward to the front. We're coming into a seated twist. Left foot over the right. Try to get your left foot flat on the ground, both sides of our butt on the ground. For me, when I leave this bottom heel tucked in, it's really hard to get seated down, so I'm going to extend the leg out. So you can keep it folded in or extend out. Try to find a pretty good balance. And then add the twist. Arm across the shin or to the outside of the thigh. Think of the lift, lift, lift in the torso that we've practiced in Utkatasana. Straight up and down here. Okay, untwist. So then that front left leg is going to go all the way back. So we kind of find pigeon pose again. And downward facing dog. Gently bend the knees and walk the feet up towards the front of the mat. Nice and wide. Do that ragdoll kind of release. Let's get all to the second side on this. So left foot's gonna stay forward. Step your right foot back. Find warrior two. Spin back heel down. Come upright, stack shoulders over the line of the hips, bend your left knee a lot. Look over the left fingertips. Flip the palms, reverse warrior, left arm high. And left elbow to the knee, right arm palm down overhead. You could go lower here if you wish. Look down at your left foot. Find your low lunge. Step it back for a moment. Staying on the left side, left knee to the left wrist for pigeon. Tuck the heel in, closer to the right hip. Walk the right leg back, come down. Again, forearms to floor, underneath a block. Try to be as balanced in the weight as possible here, front to back, side to side. Okay, and then we change to that twist so you can let yourself fall towards the left leg. Scooch the right leg around, come into the twist, right foot, the opposite side of the left thigh. Again, if your right seat is really high off the ground here, try extending the left leg to give you a little more ease in this seated twist. And take again, front of the shin, or you can go all the way elbow to the outside of the thigh. The deeper the twist, the more we tend to kind of want to lean back and curl in the torso. Instead, focus on staying lifted, even if it's less depth in the twist. Then the benefits of the pose will be a little higher up in that tone and turn. Across the thoracic spine, the upper back, where we all tend to be stiffer. Okay, stiffer for a reason for sure, but good to always find space. Come back, extend both legs straight out in front of you now. Flex the feet, toes, knees straight up to the sky. Lift the arms. Again, here, it's like Utkatasana. So keep from the hip to the shoulder, up to the hands as much as we can, straight up and down. So we're trying not to fall back here. We're trying to stay up and to make that a little bit more doable and get us into the shape of the legs. Come to your heels, bend your knees. So as if you're trying to pull your belly a little more into the thighs. Stay lifted here. Can you keep your left leg exactly like that? Straighten your right leg off of the ground about a foot, and then set the heel back down. Straighten the left, set it down, pick up the right, straighten, set it down, pick up the left, straighten, set it down. Do y'all know Russian twist? Hold your hands right in front of the chest and dip back side to side a couple of times. To the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, left. One more time, right and left. Lift it all the way back up. Ready, 2 feet off, boat pose. Give it our best shot. Legs straight, legs bent. Keep the torso lifted, lifted, lifted. And Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. Whew, lean over. Let this one feel good. Adjust so that it does. Maybe that's staying upright in the torso. Maybe it's bringing your heels a little further away. We are cooling it down now. And in your own time, come on down to your back. Pull your knees close into the chest. Give yourself a hearty squeeze. Thank you for this body, for this work. Take the hands to goalpost now, or goddess arms. So lay the head, shoulders down, arms out to the side with a bend in the elbows. Take your knees over the line of the hips. Okay, the knees are not going to go down to the ground, but we're going side to side here. Lower the knees towards the right, maybe half the way. And then bring it back to the center. You're pressing down through the back of the hands and shoulders. Go over towards the left. And back to the center. Go one more time to the right. Hover. And center. Left. Hover. And center. Again, knees just over the line of the hips. Try to keep this 90-degree angle, but tap the right toes down to the mat and up. Left toes down and up. Direction of the belly button in towards the mat the whole time. Do the side to side. Go right and up, left and up, right and left. One more time, right and left. Okay, really done now. Hug the knees in. Supine twist. So this time the knees get to fall all the way down to the right. Good. Sigh, exhale, let the breath go. Close the eyes if that's safe and comforting for you. Slowly change directions, knees across the center over to your left side. And then come back into your middle. All right, this is your time to wiggle out a little bit more if there's any last little bits that would feel good to you prior to Shavasana. If there's a safe inversion in your practice, you could do that here. Since most of us have cleared a wall space, perhaps for Shavasana, you want to take legs up the wall today. You would set your butt as close to the wall as possible and then flick your legs up. Nice settling and releasing from the work of fierce pose. So find your unwind, find your last pose until you are in Shavasana. As your body finds that last still position for this practice, keep the mind settled. Give focus and attention to your breath. I always focus on first a balanced breath, meaning I try to count the length of my inhale, the length of my exhale, and make it as balanced as possible. Once I've found that, working to then extend the length of the exhale, even just half a beat more than the inhale. Maybe more. And then don't even worry about the breath. Just be. Slowly here now, bringing your awareness back. Bit of movement in the fingers and in the toes. Take your time to move more. If you're lying back or in legs up the wall, take your time. Find a comfortable seat. As we come back to the seated position, Anjali Mudra, palms together, thumbs to the sternum. Once more, this gesture of offering. It's a way of offering the goodness of the practice out into the rest of our day. We'll close in the sound of Om. Please sing along, listen, or tune it out. Empty out your breath here. Enjoy a deep inhale. Bow to the greatness and the gratitude within you, each other, and this practice. Namaste.